Hello, my name is Host Eric. I am the host of Talking with Famous People, and I want to begin this evening's discussion with talk of seekage, the seeker and the seeking of seekings. So, what does it mean to seek? Well, when I'm talking about that word, I'm talking about specifically the fact that there are plenty of individuals in the world. I'm not even sure if there are a shitload of individuals who are... What is the problem here? Yeah. A shitload of individuals who don't have this experience. But I know for me, and I think for a lot of people, at a certain point in life, you start to fret more about what it is that you're doing here, the point of it all, and just become increasingly reflective in your thinking about the progression of life. And so such individuals who are trying to find an answer to troubling realities of uncertainty that go along with being a human being tend to seek answers in a variety of ways. One way in which people seek answers is by pursuing a spiritual type of path that's already been established. So you might see individuals convert to a religion, or you might see somebody become a Scientologist, or you might see somebody become recovering addict as their identity. You see that a lot. A lot of people choose to just simply convert to that identity in order to preserve themselves from the fate of unmanaged drug addiction, which is understandable enough. I mean, they're in a desperate spot. So a lot of times, though, people find in a given form of metaphysics, whatever kind it is, a sense of the answer. I can stop looking. I mean, isn't that the whole point of being a seeker? One who wants the answers is that you can stop looking at some point, you get the answers. The seeker's path, then, is going to be one of a first is going to have a specific arc to it, it would seem to me. At first, an individual is going to emerge from adolescence or into adolescence and through adolescence being very much interested in positioning their identity with and against things. That's stage one. So people who are going to end up seeking are not going to immediately fit easily in with the existing way of things. In general, it's fair to say that SFJs don't tend to be seekers because they already know where what they're looking for is. They're seeking ways to make it more that way, but they're not seeking any answers in a larger sense. They know what they value. To the extent that that breaks down, they shore it up by finding other things they value that they can turn to attend to that aspect of it. But for a lot of types, especially I think NTPs and NFPs, we tend to be dissatisfied with what we're given as a default state. NFPs, they might be dissatisfied with the fact that they're not satisfied. They're going to be satisfied at first, then sort of, well, I changed my mind. NTPs are going to reject the very notion of being satisfied in order to not have any obligation to retain interest. They're going to try to restrict the amount of reasonable claims others can make upon them. And this is going to conflict ultimately with their goal as seekers. So there's a decent chance that if you're watching this channel and you're watching this video, that you want to know more in general, because that's what I'm saying all the time, is stuff like, I want to know more, or this I know and that I don't know, and this I want to know, and this uncertainty bothers me. And it's like I'm basically expressing the struggles of a seeker from the T side of the perspective. Now, the word seeker has kind of a negative connotation in the T community. So NTPs or NTJs are likely to think of seekers as being all about the crystals and the yoga and the magical spells and stuff like that. And we're going to think of it as being fairly silly. But in reality, we're seekers of our own sort. It's just that we're jaded, disillusioned seekers who have bought into the notion that there's no... because we understand well the limits of mysticism, that there's no purpose in seekage, and that the abstract realm and the spiritual realm are not one and the same and do not complement one another. But I would argue quite the contrary, that the abstract realm is the spiritual realm, and that we consistently all underestimate our ability to shape the reality around us. So, for me, okay, here's an example. When I was getting divorced, one of the elements that was critical to me, was the most important thing to me, really, frankly, was that the framing of it go the way I wanted it to go. So, I was going to make sure it was framed out so that she left me, so that she left me for certain reasons and not others. She'd give me multiple reasons, maybe, but in the framing of this reality, after the fact, I'm not misrepresenting her position. I'm just highlighting the ones that I want to highlight. And I'm positioning them as the real reasons. And I'm attributing to a character of my ex-wife a conclusive paradigm regarding our divorce. And she probably doesn't love that, But the fact is, it had to be done, because things had to be framed the way I wanted them framed. It's not like I was being mean to her or anything. I'm not trying to scold her or bust her chops, but the way this narrative plays out, as far as I'm concerned, is she made a mistake. I warned her she would regret it, and I tried to prevent her from going there, and she got grass is greener syndrome, and off she went, and now she's not happy. So that's my narrative, right? That's the only way this story plays out, as far as I'm concerned. And the weird thing is, I actually believe that if I frame the story correctly and tell it correctly and make its facts known to the world adequately enough, that will cause reality to become what I will it to be. And in fact, I don't know if that's the truth or not, but I do know that Candace has an interesting relationship with some of my media. She sometimes talks to me about it, I go, "Oh, you watch my videos?" Ooh, really? You watch them? You watch them a lot? I would never imagine you would have watched them. You hated them when we were married. You fucking despised everything I did. Why would you start watching them now? I don't know. Anyway. So that's it for the seeking thing. I got a little off track there. But seekage, NTPs, we need to remember that we're looking for an answer. We're not looking for a non-answer that we accept. So, whatever the answer is, it's not that it's not there, it's just you haven't worked hard enough to dig it out. It's there. And it's logical. It makes perfectly good sense. It's not, fuck! fuck? It was aliens the whole time. Oh my god. You mean you guys have been doing this shit to us this whole time? Oh, fuck it. You pranksters. No. That's not the answer. The answer is much more logical than that. It's also much more post-logical than that. Don't forget, non-rational doesn't mean irrational. Important note. Everybody, get a Hallmark card right now. Write in it. Don't forget, irrational does not equal non-rational. Exclamation point. Love Susie. Even if your name's not Susie. Especially if your name's not Susie. So with those important words, thanks for watching. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese, and talk to you later.